Alrighty guys, so welcome to this week's episode. The sunny Bahamas. As you can see, we're in long sleeves. There's a north front that's come through. But anyway, so back to this week's episode. So as you noticed, for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about lightning strikes, our buddy Shane and Tanya getting hit by lightning. This week, we're going to go into... Some people think insurance is boring, but then again, it probably is until you need it. So anyway, Shane's going to dive a little bit deeper into how insurance kind of works, how you should deal with an insurance company. He's got a lot of experience. He's worked in the industry. He's also now been hit by lightning, so he's had to deal with it that way. So he's going to dive a little bit deeper into some of the stuff we probably take for granted that we're covered for, and maybe we are, maybe we're not. So anyway, stay tuned. It is insurance, so it might not be 100% interesting until you need it, but there is actually a lot of interesting facts there. So anyway, Shane, over to you.
I am a barefoot man, barefoot to make my stand. I bare my soul for all the world to see. Yeah. I am a barefoot man, feet planted firmly in the sand. Bare your souls, come along with me. Lose your shoes, lose your blues, come along with me.
Welcome back, Shane. How's it going in Fort Lauderdale?
You know, it is a beautiful day today. The weather in Florida is really peculiar. Some days it's absolutely gorgeous. Other days it's perfect. So, you know, you never really know what you're going to get.
No.
Today's one of those gorgeous days. I'm sorry. Yeah, so, wow, we are like dead 100% in the middle of it. There is literally not one place to sit on the boat, or at least yesterday. We've kind of cleared it out so that we could, you know, it's at the end of the day. Poor Tanya, you know, she likes everything in its place, in order. I have to give her credit because she is really hanging in there. I know inside it's just driving her absolutely crazy that the boat's in such chaos. But we are moving the ball. We're making lots of progress. A lot of the DC system is in. We start solar in about a week or so. We're having a solar rack built for the solar arch for the new solar panels, so that's exciting. The new batteries are in, the new inverter's in. They've started on the new console. We were having a new DC panel built. This was just non-repairable. A lot of the stuff on the boat is out of production. For instance, you know, a good example is our helm where the engine instrument clusters are. Those instrument cluster panels are no longer being produced. The new ones are much smaller and they're just a different layout. So we have to literally strip everything off the helm.
And they're a different size.
Yeah, recreate a brand new back panel, which is 3 pieces, and then refit everything in a brand new, you know, make new holes and everything. So it's kind of cool. You know, everything's going to look super shiny and new. And so that's exciting, but it's just a lot of work.
Yeah, well, the pictures of the batteries looked fantastic. All the cabling and everything, it looks very professional.
These guys are, I don't know if they're all this way, but this guy that they've sent out here, his name's Augustine. He's a young guy from Cuba. He's been in the States for about 10 years. He's legal. And he is an artist. This guy, I love it when I see him coming on the boat because I know whatever he touches is going to be immaculate. Dealing with insurance, which is what we're going to talk about today, and a lightning claim, all this, it's really a sailor's nightmare. It's the thing that you dread. Let me back up and say this. I never really was concerned about lightning. It was never on my radar of what I was buying insurance for. We were buying insurance for hurricane, or maybe a theft where someone boarded the boat, or maybe we run the boat aground. You know, most people on the water, I've learned, never experienced that. But since we've had this lightning strike and we talk to people, everybody we've talked to in the community, in the sailing community, either has had a lightning strike or knows someone personally that's had a lightning strike. The stories are just off the chart. I'll give you a couple examples. There's a boat right across from us, it's a 58-foot catamaran, was here because of a lightning strike. They were working on the boat, finished the boat, put the last piece of equipment on. A storm came through and bam, got hit again, right in the slip before ever moving. A worse story is the boat right across from it, brand new boat, hasn't even been delivered yet, hit 3 times in the same spot.
3 times?
Yeah, 3 times. Yeah, and so this lightning is a big problem, especially this year. Somewhere in the area of about 60 boats they've towed in from lightning problems, lightning damage. There were 10 boats in one day that got hit in this marina. One day. So lightning is really, it's the pirate we need to be concerned about.
Maybe we should stay without a mast on our boat.
I guess there's some benefit to that. That's another topic that really bears a lot of discussion that I am not an authority on. There's so many ideas and theories on how to protect your boat from a lightning strike. They've got everything from $169 dissipator that sticks up with some fuzzies to a $50,000 system where they'll give you a guarantee. So does any of it work? Who knows? Nobody can answer that question. That's the important. I would just say spend as much money as you feel like you can spend on protecting your boat. That's the only thing I know. And then have good insurance.
Yeah. And insurance, that's basically what we're going to talk about now, is how to deal with an insurance company if you do get struck by lightning.
I think, the real test for an insurance company is not how cheap the insurance is, or even where they cover you in terms of where or what they cover you against. The real test of an insurance company is how they handle your claim. I come from the insurance world, so I've been on various sides. I've seen this ball from many different angles. Now I'm dealing with it from the perspective of I'm the policy holder. I need to file a claim, but I also have the mindset of being an adjuster, processing claims for people. I've also got the mindset and experience of being a contractor, being the third party, trying to get an insurance company to pay for this person's damage. So I've got a pretty wide range of experience that's really been beneficial. And that's what I want to talk about today. And quite frankly, I really could talk all day on this subject. I'm kind of passionate about it. But we're going to limit this because I don't want you to lose your viewers over the topic of insurance.
But it is important. It is something that people just don't know how to deal with it. So
yeah, people are afraid of the insurance company, the big bad insurance company. You're afraid of it, but then you have to have it. And then when you get your insurance policy, you bought your policy, now you sleep good at night. That's a false notion, because an insurance policy does not cover you 100% of everything. And so I guess this is kind of lends to the first myth that I want to touch base on. I've got insurance and I'm covered. Myth number one. A lot of folks that have never dealt with insurance have that notion that because they've got a policy and they're paying their premiums on time, that they're covered. I hear it all the time. Nobody has full coverage. There is no full coverage. That's a myth. It's a partnership between you and the insurance company. So you have a deductible, number one, and then in the marine industry, you have limits on what's covered, what's not, and where you can go. So number one point is you have to know your policy. Do any of us read our policies? Can I tell you, I've been in insurance for a long time. I don't always read them. I full disclosure. And, but we've learned to look for the high points, and we learned to ask those questions. And it's important to get an agent you can trust, but even agents don't always know. And an agent that really knows, they're like 1 out of 100. There's the agency side, the underwriting, then there's the claim side, and those two are not connected. So anyway, myth number one, I've got insurance, I'm completely covered, I'm ready to go. Not so. You need to know your deductibles, where you can go. For instance, our policy covers us, I think it's 100 miles off of the coast. I'll do it this way for your, so it looks right. I hope that's the right way. 100 miles off the coast of the U.S. and Canada, and then a large portion of the Bahamas.
And even during hurricane season as well, you were covered in the Bahamas.
Yes.
Where we were. So.
That's right. Yeah. I had gone outside of the coverage area and got hit by lightning,
you wouldn't have been
we
covered.
would not have been covered.
Yeah.
Right? 50 miles can make a difference, in this case, a couple $100,000 decision.
Right.
So that's myth number one. The next myth is what do I do when I file a claim? The myth is insurance companies don't want to pay my claim. They want to deny my claim. That's not true. Insurance companies don't get paid to not pay claims. Just not true. It is not true at all. It is way harder and requires way more work to deny a claim than it does to pay it. Okay. That's a key point. I want to say that again. It's way easier to pay a claim than it is to deny it. Now, that comes back to me as the policy holder. Another myth, I'm going to kind of intermingle a couple. I've got insurance. I need to file a claim. The insurance is going to take care of everything. That's not true. Your average insurance adjuster or your claims handler, the person that you're talking to on the phone, in my experience, I've never met one or dealt with one that did not have a backlog of 100 or 150 files that they were responsible for. So you're just piling on a load that's already too much for them. You've got to take the reins for your claim. You've got to be your own advocate, kind of put yourself as the project manager or the general contractor, if that's an acceptable term. Take control of the claim. So here's the basics of what the insurance company needs. They need photo evidence of your damage, whatever you're claiming, photo evidence. They need official certification. In other words, in a lightning strike, they want to know from a marine electrician that, in fact, they come out and look at the boat and say, yeah, it's been struck by lightning. They certify that, yes, that did happen. So the reason we didn't have that in our case. Why? Well, because we had that nice photo that Davy took with his drone of our mast looking like a burnt matchstick.
Right.
Any moron could look and say, oh, yeah, okay. No, can't deny a lightning strike. Many boats get lightning damage, but do not take a direct hit. Like those boats in this marina. There was one that got hit, and both boats on either side were damaged, took damage, right? So in those cases, there's no physical damage or visible evidence of a lightning strike, except you got a bunch of equipment that doesn't work.
Right.
Now, so in our case, it would have been devastating had we not taken a direct hit. That photograph that Davy took was worth a couple $100,000 in our case.
Right.
In a situation where you don't take a direct hit, everything's broken, and in our case, it would devastating because this boat's 23 years old. So if I told the insurance company, showed them a picture of my 23-year-old chart plotter that's got buttons on it, hey, this thing quit working, they may say, well, buddy, that thing's just old. How do you know it took a lightning strike? So you have to certify those things. And so a marine surveyor is typically, I'm going to get kind of deep here, but it's worth it. This is important. These are the $1 million points here. The insurance company will assign a marine surveyor, or should. When you file a claim, lightning or whatever, they're going to send a marine surveyor out because what they want to know is how much damage is there. Is it a covered loss? And how much do we owe? That's all they want to know, because they're ready to write a check. Now, those are 3 simple questions, and sometimes they're hard to answer. In our case, it was pretty easy, but a lot of times it's kind of hard to answer. I've heard nightmares about surveyors. So the surveyor that the insurance company sends out may or may not give an accurate assessment. Let's hope he does. Let's hope you have a friendly adjuster, which ours turned out not to be honest. A little bit of deep, dark, secret detail there, but we got around it, and I can talk about that if need be. Anyway, let's hope you get a good surveyor. If the surveyor doesn't write a favorable survey, like he's saying, I don't know, this, I don't know that I can certify this as being damaged. Well, your options are go get your own surveyor. Now, you'll have to pay out of pocket for it, but go get your own surveyor. If it's a big claim, then it's worth it. And you might even whatever that expense is, you might even make that in the claim too. So I don't want to get too bogged down here with that. But the myth is I've got insurance, I filed a claim, the insurance is going to take care of me. That is a false notion. You have to be your own best advocate. As a policy holder filing a claim, I have to prove my loss. Be ready, just keep your hand on the wheel, watch everything, keep notes. It's a great time to start a diary. I always recommend folks get you a notebook and write down everything that happens. Write down everybody you talk to. After you get off the phone having a conversation, follow up with an email and send that to that person so it goes in the file and it's a permanent record. Right. And so you want to pretend, I like to do this. I like to pretend I'm in a court trying to persuade a jury or a judge of my case.
For your policy to be covered by lightning, you have to specifically see that lightning is covered?
Yes, you need to know that.
Yeah.
Lightning, so a little bit of history. Insurance started as fire and lightning claims. That's why they started insurance. Then they started adding other things like, let's add some water coverage so we can collect more premium. Let's add some wind coverage so we can collect more premium, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And so now they bundled all that stuff, and when you buy it, it's typically all in a policy, so you don't have to add it like you used to in the olden days. But yes, fire and lightning, it's kind of a hands down. It's covered. What I'm seeing typically now is that named storm are not covered. That's what's excluded. Right. You know, couple. I want to give you two bonus points before we leave. If you don't get anything else out of this video, remember this: when it comes to filing a claim is not over until you quit calling. When an insurance company writes a check, they will often close the file. In fact, they did that on us. I said, well, you can close it, but I've got more receipts. I know I'm going to have some more repair money that I'm going to need. They said, okay, just send it in. We'll reopen. So claim is never over until you, the policyholder, quit calling. And the other bonus point from years of experience, never take a no from somebody that cannot give you a yes. That's $1 million point right there. In our case, that was a $37,000 point.
Wow.
So let's talk about that because it's interesting.
Yeah.
So when we first got struck, first thing I did, I notified my agent because he and I are actually friends and we text on other topics, not just insurance. I said, hey, bud, we just got hit. And I was really just calling to tell him. He said, okay, I'll get a claim started for you. So he actually filed the claim for us. So a good agent will do that. If you don't have a good agent, get one. By the way, your agent, this is a good point too. Your agent makes a commission on not only selling you the policy, but every year when your policy renews, he makes a commission, right? So your agent owes you. So make him work for him. And ours does. He works really hard. We were told initially that there was no money. Well, there was $1,000. We had a $1,000 towing limit on our policy. No problem. We got CETO. So we call CETO. The CETO's like, oh no, we only go to Bimini from Florida. We're in Georgetown. It's 300 miles back to Florida. And so here we are. I get a quote. There's a guy locally there in Georgetown. I get a quote. It's $25,000 to tow us back to Bimini. I'm like, oh my God. I called that claims handler back. I said, hey, I just got a quote. It's $25,000. She said, yeah, you've got a $1,000 towing allowance on your policy. I can give you that. I'll send that to you right now. And so she did. Click. We got $1,000. I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. You know,
that's not enough.
So this is like day 2 of the thing right after the strike. So Davy and Tim and Brian, we were all at the boat. We were just still going through the boat, trying to make the boat worthy enough for us to drive it back to Florida, because that's what it looked like. We thought that's what our only option was.
Right.
And not only did I not want to pay $25,000, I didn't have $25,000.
No.
I sunk all my money in my boat. So I'm like, all right, well, this is what we're going to have to do. So we were just planning on just driving the boat back. And we just kept working day and day, trying to get the boat where we felt like it was safe to drive. I kept calling the claims handler back. And I like, listen, are you sure? I said, because we cannot drive this boat back. I've got no navigation lights. I've got no engine instrumentation. I've got no depth sounding. I said, we could run aground or overheat an engine and not know it until it's too late. What I said to her is, if I go ahead and drive this boat back, I need to know that if something like that happens, you're still going to cover me.
Right.
And she wouldn't commit. She wouldn't commit. She's all over the place. In the meantime, we go into the weekend. Now, mind you, on that very first call, I got everybody's information. And when I call somebody and leave them a message, then I call the next person. I go ahead and call them, leave them a message. And so I got a hold in that initial set of phone calls. I got this person's boss and figured I would never hear from him. Well, lo and behold, we got hit on a Tuesday. We struggled with the boat all week to try to make it ready, thinking we were going to have to pull up anchor ourselves manually because the windlass was blown, and drive this thing back. On a Sunday afternoon, just when we're like, okay, we're leaving in the morning, we're going to have to drive this thing back. This claims manager calls me. Hey, I've been out of the office. I just got your message. I said, I'm trying to get ahead of my phone calls when I go back to the office Monday. Just wanted to touch base and see what's going on. So I explained to him everything. He said, well, how much is the tow? I said, well, I got a quote here for $25,000. He says, yeah, we'll cover that. You guys don't need to try to drive that boat back. Just like that.
Brilliant.
He said, can you send that to me? I said, sure can. What's your email? Clickety click, boom, there it goes. And lo and behold, so that started another chain of events. Sea-Tow got involved. They kind of took over the entire tow from Georgetown all the way back to Fort Lauderdale. Turned out it was $37,400 to get us back to Florida. And they ended up writing the check for all of it.
Wow.
So never take a no from somebody who don't give you a yes. It's not over till you quit calling. Just because you got insurance doesn't mean you're covered. You need to know. Well,
If you want to pay.
oh, yeah, they do want to pay. They want to pay. They do want to pay. But sometimes, so here's why. The low-level person, they have a cap on what they have authority to pay.
Right.
If you're new, you might have $5,000 cap. In other words, if a claim comes across your desk, it's for $4,500. Yeah, you have authority to write that check and pay that claim. A little bit more seasoned, you might have a $25,000 cap, right? When you get into a large loss that's six figures, like ours was, that generally goes to a committee or somebody way up, so that takes time. So we do have to be patient. That was another point I did want to make in this whole process. Be nice. We talked about that, but just be patient with the process, because the more patient you are, Erica, the better position. It puts you more in a home team advantage. Yeah. Should it go to litigation, right? Because you can always document a delay. Insurance companies get in more trouble because they delay they drop the ball. And it happens all the time. Why? Because they got 100 or 150 claim backlog and everybody's overwhelmed. Right. Everybody in an insurance company is overwhelmed. If you find somebody that's not overwhelmed, they're generally let go because they don't need it.
Yeah.
That's just the truth of the matter, right? So it's such an easy thing to do if you understand those features in dealing with an insurance company, how to file a claim and make sure you get paid what you owe. Now, we're not asking for something. We're not trying to get them to paint the boat. The boat needs a paint job. And if I could figure that out, I would put that in the claim, but I just can't.
No, you can't wangle that one.
That's outside the lines. I'm not calling outside the lines, but I am making sure I get paid for everything on the boat that's damaged.
Right.
Right. I'm just being thorough, and nobody will do that better than you, the policyholder.
So I had a question. Now that you have been hit by lightning, is this insurance company that you're with going to be able to give you a new policy now that you've already been hit once?
So we renewed in December, or we do renew in December, right, babe? Is that right?
We renewed in October.
I'm sorry. Oh, we renewed in October. So we're covered for this next cycle, another year.
Okay.
Quite frankly, I don't know what they're going to do.
Okay.
We'll just have to wait and see. So.
All right. So I hope you enjoyed that episode and that discussion with Shane. He's a wealth of knowledge. So you may not need it now, and hopefully you'll never need it. But if you do need the information, maybe now you'll be a little bit more informed. Maybe you've already got it. Also, I'm sure a lot of people have got questions. If you made it this far through the video and you've got questions, leave them in the comments and we're going to link Shane in there as well. So Shane's going to be available to answer some questions for you. Anyway, guys, thanks again. Stay tuned for next week where we're back to more boat works on Barefoot and exploring some beautiful Bahama islands. Take care.